Hi, I'm astrologer and life coach Penny Dix. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back if you're one of my regular visitors. And if this is your first visit, a very big welcome to you. I hope very much that you like my style of astrology. I try to keep it simple, digestible, understandable. And today I'm going to be looking at the full moon in Gemini in depth, which is on November the 27th. And after the brief overview will be your zodiac signs time-stamped by the lovely Jerry, my tech guy, to let you know what part of your chart this full moon is going to be experienced in. And remember, if you know what your rising sign is, or also known as the ascendant, check out not just your sun sign, but your rising sign too. And some people also like to check out their moon sign. So please feel free to check out what you would like to check out. But with no further ado, let's dive in to the astrology of the full moon in Gemini. Well, Gemini is an air sign and it's mutable, which means, well, I'm sure anyone who has any energy in their chart, which is Gemini, they know they are prone to overthink. Gemini energy tends to stay stuck in the mind and the head and finds it quite difficult to get down sometimes into the feeling level, into what's going on in the heart, the intuition. So this full moon is actually giving you an opportunity to really try to see if you can intuitively feel in your life what you need to change, what you need to let go of. Remember, full moons are about traditionally endings and letting go so that the new can come in, a new beginning. So let's look at the event chart for this full moon, because this will tell us generally how we can expect the planet to be affected. So Mercury, our planet of communication, which is in Sagittarius, which, of course, Sagittarius is a sign which is all about truth. And of course, the sun is in Sagittarius because it has to be in opposition to the moon in Gemini for it to be a full moon. So Mercury in this chart is making a hard square to Neptune, my big dwarf planet Neptune in Pisces, still retrograde. So let's just think about this energy, because Mercury is about communication or thinking and thought, new ideas. But this is a hard aspect. It's a square, it's challenging. And, you know, Neptune can be about not seeing things clearly. So what might you be thinking of throwing out that you haven't really thought through clearly enough, and maybe it's not the right time to throw out or let go of whatever Neptune is making you feel a little bit unclear about? Because what we need with this kind of energy, and with Gemini in general, is evidence. We have to make our decisions based on evidence. Now, that can be tough, but it's the only way we move forward. The event chart shows Capricorn on the ascendant. That's the rising sign. And Pluto, of course, direct in Capricorn. And remember, Pluto, our big dwarf planet, who is going to shift his energies, his massive empowerment and transformational energies into Aquarius next year. And I will talk a lot more about that when I do the overview for 2024, which will be out soon. Also, all your individual star signs, of course. So Pluto is in the first house of this chart, saying, allow this full moon to help you find the truth you need to seek about something that's happening in your life that may be tough, that may be difficult. Now, why am I saying that? Well, I'm saying that because the planet Mars, our god of action, energy, assertion, of arguments, of war, is at 2 degrees of Sagittarius. So it's still conjunct the sun. Now, if you remember, when Mars was in Scorpio and the sun was still in Scorpio, and I talked about it in my week ahead video, which was on Sunday, the 19th of November, Mars was what was known as Cazimi, the sun. It's a fancy word, but what it means is it's in the heart of the sun. The heart, wrong side. The heart of the sun. So it's like it's being recharged. Mars has gone round the zodiac twice and never really had an opportunity to get a full boost of energy from the sun. The sun, that static energy, that ball of plasma in the center of our solar system that we evolve round and revolve round. And of course, astrology is interesting because it's from, we look at the cosmos from the viewpoint of being on planet Earth. And so it appears that the sun goes round the zodiac. And of course, in effect, it does. But actually, of course, we are all orbiting the sun, including all the constellations. So Mars is still conjunct the sun. There's something here about tough decisions. You know, Mars can be cutting energy. It's had its kind of batteries charged in Scorpio when it was Cazimi, the sun, when it was absorbed in all that quantum plasmic energy to renew itself, to rise like the phoenix out of the ashes of the scorpionic energies. And it's asking all of us to be truthful, to be truthful with ourselves and to be truthful with others. What is making that tough, as I said, is that Neptune squaring Mercury, the planet of communication, that is actually right at the end of Sagittarius, and it won't be long before Mercury moves into Capricorn. So Pluto also, that is retrograde, sorry, it's not retrograde, that is direct in Capricorn, is trining this full moon in Gemini. So that is actually supremely helpful. That is like giving us this boost of transformational energy. It's saying, you can do it. Whatever it is you need to change or start. Perhaps you have to clear the decks so that you can start something new in your life. Start something that really is meaningful for you, that is creative, because, you know, the full moon in Gemini in this chart, and it's only at 4 degrees of Gemini, is in the 5th house of the event chart. So that is all about creativity. So there's something here about being creative. The other thing that is interesting that I want to mention is that this full moon is widely conjunct the dwarf planet Aries. Sorry, not Aries, Sedna. Getting my planets mixed up. Sedna. Now, I find this interesting because the moon is about the moon is in Gemini, which is about communication. Sedna is in Taurus. Now, Taurus can be about luxury and food and enjoyment in terms of what we can luxuriate in. But Sedna is about victimization to the feminine. Sedna is about the victimization of women, the abuse of women. If you feel strongly about this, maybe this is something that you want to write about. Maybe it's a blog. Maybe you want to do a whole series of blogs to help empower women that have suffered at the hands of abuse and are suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. Think of all the refugees that will ultimately find themselves on the shores of the UK, of various countries in Europe, when they come from Israel, Palestine, Gaza, and maybe beyond. And the terrible things that they will have experienced need to be understood. This would be a great time to volunteer to help in terms of helping people who are arriving in your particular country who have been suffering from abuse or, you know, that kind of feminine trauma. It's just a thought. Because in the event chart, Gemini is actually on the cusp of the 6th house, which is the house of service to others. Where's the full moon? In Gemini. So it loosely pulls in that energy and makes it kind of available for us. Lastly, before I move on to your individual zodiac signs, I want to talk about Saturn, because Saturn is squaring the full moon and the sun. So Saturn in Pisces is in effect making a T-square to the full moon and to the sun. Now, this is incredibly important because Saturn is about timing. Pisces, my oceans of emotions, can be about our emotions overflowing, our feelings overflowing and feeling out of control, our anxiety feeling out of control, our inability to live with uncertainty, our inability to let go of the control that actually we don't really have. So Saturn in Pisces, squaring this full moon and squaring the sun and squaring Mars, is really trying to tell us to slow down, that everything is about timing, and that if we've been going through a period of anxiety, difficulty, stress, overthinking situations, overthinking health, things that perhaps are going on with us because of that 6th house energy, overthinking anything that is going on in the world at the moment, then take your time. Have faith. What we really have to do in the present with the things that are happening in the world is have faith that the cosmos, that the divine has your back, and somehow, in spite of all the terrible things that are happening, we will get through this. And on a personal level, if you're going through your own personal traumas, which are kind of inflamed by watching the news or hearing snippets of it, turn the news off. And just know that this full moon could see you having the ability to end any negative thinking, any unhealthy thinking, any distorted thinking. You know, if you do suffer from anxiety, panic attacks, distorted thinking, that happens to be one of my specialities as a coach. So you're very welcome to go to my website and get in touch with me for a coaching session. You might like an astrology session first. And I have clients who I see every week for coaching. And I'm not taking new clients for either astrology or for coaching until the beginning of 2024 now. So I'm booked now till January. And let's now move on, because I know you all desperately want to know what part of your chart this full moon is appearing in. Let's start with Aries. Aries, it's in your third house of communication. You see, for you, Aries, it's always easy with all of these events because you are the first sign of the zodiac. So you kind of get a double layer of the energy. So Gemini is always your third house. And it is the third house on the zodiac wheel. What, Aries, are you personally overthinking? What are you finding it hard to let go of so that you can start something new? Because you know that there is new, or there are new things knocking at your door, desperately wanting to come in. So please, Aries, stop the overthinking. Turn your vision towards the future, because that's the direction we're all going, including you, Aries. Aries, you are an initiator. You start things. You've got kind of slowed down and caught up in a kind of emotional trap. Let it go. Use this full moon of communication to let go and really, really allow the new to come in. Let's move on to Taurus. Taurus, it's in your second house. So this is the house, of course, of finance. It can also be property. It can be our luxurious indulgences, you know, food, wine, the cost of it. It's also about value and self-value and self-worth. And remember, the sun is in opposition in your 8th house, which is about joint finance. You might be balancing the books at the moment a bit, Taurus. You might be thinking, what's going on? Have I been overspending a bit and not allowing myself enough kind of leeway to cover Christmas expenditure. So Taurus, I know you can be a little bit extravagant at times, but this is the time to slow down a bit. Think of that Saturn making that T-square. Oh dear, sorry about that. Think of that Saturn making that T-square from Pisces to the sun and the moon. It's asking you to learn from lessons of the past. When you overflow with generosity, which is wonderful. I mean, you can be an incredibly generous person, Taurus. But you've got to put yourself first. You've got to make sure there's enough in your piggy bank for you. So take care, balance the books, look at your joint finances or anything that you share with others and see how you can get a little bit of a little bit of the control back. You need to use some assertive Mars energy conjunct that sun opposite the moon to become a little bit more honest with yourself about your expenditure. Right, so now, of course, we move on to Gemini. Gemini, well, of course, it's in your first house because this is your full moon. It's in your sign. Gemini, how are you? You know, there's not much going on in your sign at the moment other than what's in opposition, which is the sun, conjunct Mars. Mercury has been in opposition to your sign for a little while now. So how are you faring with this kind of energy? Because it's just the moon, your intuition. What are you overthinking? Remember, I just used a key word, intuition. What do you need to slow down about? Think of that T-square I've been talking about from Saturn in Pisces. Pisces, which is all about our intuition, our spirituality. Think of that T-square to the sun in Sagittarius and the moon in your sign Gemini. Remember, this is challenging. How can you slow down? Because sometimes you just, well, you Gemini, you witter. Listen, I've got Mercury in Gemini. I know about wittering. And some of you know very well that I can witter away for hours. And I'm really working hard to keep my videos to a reasonable length because I know people's attention span goes, oh, bored now, switch off. So Gemini, coming back to you because it is all about you. This is your full moon. Use your intuition more. Get out of your mind and get into your heart. I can't believe I don't know what side my heart is on. I think it's because I'm looking at the video and it's kind of a mirror reflection. So, of course, it looks like it should be on this side, but it isn't. It's on this side. So my heart is here. My heart is here and my heart is for you, Gemini. Please work more through this full moon energy with your knowing and your intuition. Let's move on to Cancer. Cancer, this is in your 12th house. Now, the 12th house, of course, is about the inner you. It's also about your intuition and your psychic abilities. It's a full moon, but it's Gemini. You too tend to sometimes overthink your intuition. And because you don't always go with that first thought, you analyze it, look for the evidence, overthink it, and then don't say it. The moment has passed. and you're not where you need to be anymore. So Cancer, I think this full moon is about you letting go of the overthinking that you get into with regards to your intuition. I've been talking a lot about the heart today, if you've listened to the other signs. And you need to listen to the intuition that your heart is trying to give you. Because the 12th house is where you can feel restricted. You want to break out. You want to scream. Maybe that's what you need to do. Get in the car if you've got one. Drive out somewhere quiet. Get out and scream loudly at the world. Scream in the car if there are people around. Otherwise they might, arrest you. But there are ways that we can express this kind of energy. And I think you've been, in a sense, almost in a personal lockdown for a while and kind of getting on with stuff and finding it all quite challenging. So I'm saying, Cancer, try and break out a bit with this particular full moon. Now let's move on to Leo. Leo, so this is about the heart, isn't it? Because you're Leo, the lion heart. It's your 11th house of hopes, wishes. It's the community at large. It's ideas, dreams, and projects that you want to launch. I think there have been things happening in your life, Leo, that have been slowing you down. That's that Saturn in Pisces, in your 8th house, just slowing you down a bit, saying, I am trying to help you transform, Leo. Don't go at this like a bull in a china shop. You're the lion, you're regal, slow down. This full moon for you is about actually standing still. Standing still and being aware of your heartbeat. That it's with you, that the cosmos is with you, that you have to trust the divine timing of the cosmos, of the divine, for the projects, the new projects you want to launch. You need to be a bit patient, Leo. Okay? Right. Now let's move on to Virgo. Virgo, are you feeling virginal and pure? I always want to say that with Virgo, but just me being silly. It's the 10th house. So, of course, if you're retired, this is where anything you are passionate about, that could be anything. It could be world politics. It could be theatre. It could be art. It could be anything that you're absolutely passionate about. Knitting, craft work, anything like that. Making clothes for your grandchildren. Knitting those jumpers that they only wear on Christmas Day. So Virgo, but if you are working, if you have a career, if your soul path is what you are following, this full moon is asking you, are you communicating what you want in a way that is understandable to those in your life that can help you manifest the dreams that you particularly have? Because Virgo, you are analytical. and you beat around the bush a bit when you're not getting to the point. This full moon with that Saturn T-square from your relationship sector, Pisces, Saturn in Pisces is asking you, slow down, maybe listen to what, excuse me, your nearest, your nearest and dearest are actually saying to you. Maybe they've got a point. So have a think about that, Virgo. Right. Oh dear. Nearly choked myself. Oh dear, dear, dear. Right. Sorry, Jerry. That was very confusing. Sorry, everybody. Anyway, we don't want me, popping my clogs on YouTube. Well, I suppose I'd go viral. Anyway, I'm not planning on it, and it is not an intention. Anyway, let's move on to Libra. Libra, this is your 9th house. Your 9th house of education, higher education, truth, spiritual truth. Libra, you're looking to find some balance within in terms of that kind of heart-centered sense of your own intuition. I think that's been opening up more. I think some of you have been on literal physical journeys to other places that are kind of opening up your vision of the world, of antiquity. Some of you have been having inner journeys that have really kind of been helping you, well, wake up in a sense. And that Saturn in your 6th house of Pisces is trying to say to you, you too need to slow down a bit. Slow down and allow yourself time to assimilate, to learn what you are experiencing. You know, you're going at the speed of light, Libra. I really feel the cosmos is asking you to slow down, because otherwise you're going, oh yeah, there are the pyramids. Oh goodness me, there's an Aztec pyramid. Oh my goodness, there's a Sphinx. And are you actually taking it in? It's not about collecting pictures for an album. It's about making memories. It's about learning about our ancestry, our ancestors, and having some kind of relationship with your past. Okay, Libra. Let's move on to Scorpio. So Scorpio, well, you were certainly where all the action was, weren't you? Until the sun moved into Sagittarius and is now, of course, forming this full moon with the energy of Gemini. So Scorpio, have you survived one of your ruling planets, Mars, having this, or being up close and personal with the sun? Being cleansed, being purged of all negativity, of all hurts, of everything that needs to just be renewed in that kind of eternal flame. So, Scorpio, this full moon is in your 8th house. Remember, this on the zodiac, which is Gemini, is actually, of course, your house. So it's a kind of misnomer. It's familiar territory, Gemini, because it is your 8th house. And it means that may I dare to say you need to curb some of these dark thoughts that you direct out at people that perhaps get in your way. I'm not being funny. I'm just saying that, Scorpio, I think things have been quite tough for you. I think you've been putting on quite a good front because of that. And you need to allow the purging in the fires of the sun that Mars, your co-ruling planet, had to renew your soul, to renew your energy. Kind of take a few steps back. Don't overthink and don't let your thoughts go into this negative downward spiral. Don't allow that Saturn energy to kind of really just PISS you off. Because it will. So, you know, we're coming up to the season of goodwill and everything to all men, or all humankind, I suppose we have to say now. All humankind on earth. So try and shift your energy, Scorpio, into something a little bit more positive, not just for the collective, but for you. You can do it. You have the most enormous powers of personal transformation. Right, so now let's move on to Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, this of course is your 7th house, because it's all about your close personal one-to-one relationships. Now, on a very mundane level, if a relationship has gone past its sell-by date, if you've been overthinking it like crazy, then maybe it's time to let it go. Maybe it is an ending that is overdue. You know, Saturn squaring that full moon, may be giving you that little nudge and saying, actually, it's time. Don't delay anymore. So also, you know, Sagittarius, when we let something go that really isn't meant for us, it does allow the new to come in. And I'm just thinking about the energy of Mars conjunct the sun in your sign. It isn't an exact cazimi. Refer to my other part of the video for what cazimi means. Well, no, I'll tell you. It means in the heart of the sun. So I love all these special words, but most of you don't know what they mean. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to dispel all the magic and tell you. Anyway, you've got Mars conjunct the sun. So Mars is sort of keeping pace with the sun's energy, drawing on that solar plasma energy, giving you the energy to break through something energetically within a relationship that perhaps has got very stuck. And perhaps it actually comes down to just sitting down and being truthful with the other. Sometimes that's all it takes. So now let's move on to Capricorn. Capricorn, it's in your 6th house. And how are you, Capricorn? Because you've got Pluto kind of still in your sign at that kind of difficult ending sign of yours. You know, it's at 28 coming up to 29 degrees. That really is quite tough for you. I'm just looking to see what Pluto is doing, because Pluto, that's right, Pluto is trining, which is a very helpful energy, the full moon. So this is a good full moon for you. If any of you have got any energies in your chart, if you know your chart, if your ascendant is Gemini, or if you've got a moon in Gemini, or Venus or a midheaven, then this is a good full moon for you. This is about you being able to actually take back the control of some of the sort of some parts of your life that have got a little bit kind of full with everything, with just so much going on, and feeling you can just be in charge a bit better, and to prioritize the things in your life that are important to you, Capricorn, not that are important to whatever you think someone else thinks. You know, people in general can be quite accommodating. If they're not, it's because they are not in a good place themselves. So let's move on to Aquarius. Aquarius, this is in your 5th house of fun. Welcome to the house of fun. Well, I think actually, Aquarius, seeing as you've been going through quite a tough time of late, you are actually going to enjoy this full moon, because I think this full moon is going to see you letting go of certain kind of things that you do, sort of entertainment things that you've been, in a sense, paying lip service to. It's like you filled your diary up with things that you don't really want to do. And this is seeing you being a little bit more assertive. Remember that Sun conjunct Sagittarius in opposition to Gemini. So this is positive energy. And it's helping you basically just get a grip on all the entertainment parts of your life and narrowing them down to actually, Aquarius, the things you enjoy. Because, wow, it's exhausting when we're doing lots of things to please others. Aquarius, maybe this full moon is about finally you stopping being a people pleaser. Okay, finally we come on to my oceans of emotions, my Pisces. Hello, Pisces. How are you? Oh, Pisces, Saturn directing your sign. Thank goodness for that, because that's made a huge difference, hasn't it? And, you know, this, I'm just thinking about Neptune. Neptune in your sign squaring Mercury in Sagittarius, which is, it's not opposite the full moon, but of course it's in Sagittarius, so it's gone past the sun. But Neptune, Pisces, is your ruling planet. It's still retrograde in your sign. Sometimes it gets in your way, which means you get in your way with the overthinking that the sign of Gemini can bring up for you. Please, Pisces, Saturn in your sign is asking you to slow down. Slow down and make a lot of necessary changes to the structure of your life. With the Sun in Sagittarius conjunct Mars, it's about being brutally honest with yourself, and in some ways with certain other people, the time wasters. And again, as I said to Aquarius, not being a people pleaser. Stop it, Pisces. You know, it does not serve you. You have to serve yourself first. And this full moon is, you know, I think you've got to be careful with Neptune in your sign that you see things clearly and that you don't kind of will throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, sometimes it's like we're clearing out the cupboards, and of course the following week we're thinking, oh, I wonder where that jacket is that I loved so much. Oh, I chucked it out. That's the kind of thing I'm thinking of. Try not to go over the top in this massive clearing that you're getting into. Okay? So on that note, well, I've done quite well, 45 minutes. So hopefully that will have kept most of you. Listen, thank you so much for joining me for this full moon in Gemini. Remember, it's on the 27th of November. And I'm making a few changes to the amount of content I put out to be mindful of my own astrological energies and slow down a bit. So there won't be so much content coming out, but hopefully what you'll get is quality of content, and sometimes that's better than volume of content. Remember still to go to my website, pennydixastrocoach, if you want to book a session for me, January, February, into next year now. And also remember to check out the beginner's guide to how to read your natal chart, available via my website to purchase. And that has some videos that have me in telling you about certain important things that you need to know. And also there's a beautiful moon calendar for 2024 that is available, has been designed by the lovely Andrea, who does all my thumbnails. And very soon, spoiler alert, the videos for 2024 will be available on my channel. I will do all 12 or 13 because there'll be an overview and then the 12 individual zodiac signs. But I'm going to be uploading them separately. So if you see Aries up on my channel and you can't find your sign, don't worry, it will be coming. It's just that I'm going to take my time and honor the astrology of my chart to slow down. So they will all be up by mid-December or earlier, so have no fear. And my God, wow, 2024, I've been looking at the energy. Wow, we better hold on to our hats going into 2024 because it's the year when it all changes. Okay, on that note, thank you so much for joining me. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, do all those wonderful things. And I will see you all very soon. Bye for now.